All right. Hello, everyone. You're back with the BFTAA and more show. I am your host this week, Louis George Walker, and I am the president of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. So, want you to come in and check out what we're doing, what we've got going on here. I'm still working in a remote location, but I've got news that things are turning around pretty fast. Got to see now if the volume is coming through okay. And I'm the president of Black Family Technology Awareness Radio. Time of year. Sounds like we're coming out okay. So if you can hear me, good. If you can't hear me, well, we'll try and see if we can fix that later on as things go on. But this is the BFTAA and More show. It's a product of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association here in Kansas City and the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. They come together to form this group, this radio station called Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, KUAW for short. KUAW Radio is an internet radio station broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We also have an audio-only broadcast that goes out over the TuneIn app, over your Google smart speakers, on MyTuner, on the online radio box, and on Radio Garden. So you can pick us up in a lot of different ways. All you have to do is go into your browser, type in KUAW. You can listen to us, or you can watch us when we're doing video shows. If you've got, like I say, a Google smart speaker or the Amazon speaker, you just tell Alexa or whatever to play KUAW, and we come through. So that's what we're about here. It's about knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. So it's not just about being book smart, but it's how to use what you have. There's a lot of things going on. We didn't get to start with our music that we usually have, The Art of Invention, that is one of the theme songs for KUAW and for the BFTAA and More show. But we're still coming to you from my basement right now. So that's the thing. But there's some good things in the work. I've got a call from one of our co-hosts of the station that looking at some space for us, that we may be getting some better digs. And we're also hearing that our problems that we have with the water and the frozen pipes is going to be worked on soon. So by June, we're going to be somewhere. So the radio station continues the mission of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, which is to close the digital divide that exists in the African American community between our families and technology. And by that, we mean not that we don't use or have technology around our houses. A lot of us have smartphones and computers, laptops, tablets, all of those things that we're working with, that we use every day. But, you know, in the STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, in the STEM fields, there is a lack of diversity. And a lot of that is that we're not looking at getting into those fields, that our young people aren't working to get into those fields. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics sometimes sounds like it's daunting, but it's not something that we're totally not into, because there are a lot of African Americans doing a lot of good work in those fields. But our numbers are a lot lower than they should be as compared to our population. So we've got to develop more engineers, scientists, technicians, nurses, doctors, biologists, all of those fields that need that diverse input, you know, because that's what makes the world better, is having those inputs that come from a lot of different sources, and then you come up with an answer that you can work with. So we're about doing that. We want to get kids, and we work with kids starting at 8 years old, and we've had some even younger than that in our Lego robotics program, our VEX robotics program. We've got some things we're going to show you today that we're looking to do. So there's a lot going on in the STEM fields, and we're just going to tell you a little bit about what's going on with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and STEM, because that's something that, you know, is near and dear to our heart. That's what we're here for. That's what we're about. But before I go into that, I was looking at an article in our Kansas City Globe that came out last weekend, and it was showing that we have a new school superintendent over in the Kansas City, Kansas School Board. They hired a new superintendent, Dr. Anna Stubblefield. So we've got a female, new woman that is getting ready to lead the Kansas City, Kansas school district. Now we're in the whole Kansas City metro area. So there's a Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas. We have Overland Park and Olathe. We have Raytown, Blue Springs, Grandview, North Kansas City, Liberty. All of those areas make up the Kansas City metro area. So Kansas City, Kansas is one of the larger school districts in the area, not the largest, but for Dr. Stubblefield to be over them now is really a good thing. You know, we'll see how she does. She's got experience in working with schools in this area. That says, I was reading the article that she had worked in, let's see if I can find that again. Boy, you know when you're trying to find something, it all disappears on you. Let's see. Well, maybe I can't find that for you after saying that, where she worked and getting a little bit more of her background. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I'll find it. Says, Dr. Stubblefield currently serves as the deputy superintendent in the Lawrence Public School District, Lawrence, Kansas. That's where KU is. She's down there. That's where they're hiring her from. And she spent years there as an interim superintendent from 2017 to 2018. And as a deputy superintendent, she oversaw the human resources, special education and student services, curriculum, and instruction in the Lawrence Virtual School. She has also been instrumental in Lawrence Public School equity work. She's been the director of human sources at a middle school principal. So she's worked as a coach, assistant principal in the Blue Valley and Center school districts. So for those of you in the Kansas City area, those are big, important districts or school systems in the area, especially with Blue Valley, Lawrence. So she's got a background. So I want to say, you know, greetings, welcome. You're not a stranger to the area, Dr. Stubblefield, and we'd like to get her on this show so that she can talk about some of her plans for it. So if anybody knows Dr. Stubblefield, we're going to be reaching out to her office and see if we can get her to do an interview. But about STEM, you know, we want to get kids involved in STEM. That's our main thing. But we want to hear what her plans are for the school district in general. So we'll be trying to reach out to her and bring her in. But we have a new school superintendent. Said she was hired during a special meeting on Friday, April the 23rd. And she will be, her first day as the 21st superintendent will be Thursday, July the 1st. So she's moving towards that, and hopefully we can get to talk to her before school starts and maybe get some idea of what her plans are for the KCK school district. We have some shows on that are broadcast from people that are from KCK, from the DOT and JOCO. So, you know, we're wanting to hear from her. But we're glad. We wish her well, and hopefully she can help the schools continue to excel and do better for our young people. Now, when you listen to KUAW Radio and the BFTAA and more show, one of the things we talk about is what's going on at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So we want to show you a little bit of a weekly recap of what goes on there, because that's one way that our kids can get involved in STEM, and that's something that would be very beneficial if we had our kids involved as much as possible. And NASA hires a lot of scientists, engineers, people in a lot of other technical fields, because you don't always have to be the top scientist or engineer. You can be a technician. You may be a problem solver at a different level in a different field that works out great. I know in my years of working with AT&T, I got to work with a lot of the engineers and designers, and a lot of them would value my input. I was in the field. I worked with the equipment. I was there hands-on and stuff. So a lot of times I would be working hand in hand with the designers and the engineers to give them ideas and my opinion on how we may get through a problem or how to install something right and stuff. So it doesn't mean that you have to have a PhD to work into these fields and to make a good living, to make a decent living. But you know, you've got to have an interest in it. You've got to like working with those things. And you don't know if you like it or have an interest in it until you get into it. But this computer and technology field is great for those that have that inclination. It may not be for everybody, but it's for some of us. I enjoyed my career. I worked 43 years in electronics and saw a lot of changes, but it was very rewarding. So, I just like to spread that out to as many people and especially young people to get in that field. It's not a one particular company or anything like that, but if you like putting your hands on building stuff, creating, all of that, and it can be some hard work at times, and sometimes it can be dangerous. But it's all in all a rewarding field and endeavors to be into. So that's my little soapbox on that. Now we're going to get ready to go to a little of what's going on this week at NASA. I've been playing around with the OBS system. If any of you are doing any broadcasting or multi-camera work and stuff, that's a good system. It's a open source system that everybody can contribute to and support. And I've been playing around with it. Got a couple of things I learned. I'm going to try them out today with you guys and see if it rolls through the show. It's not going to be super smooth because I don't have all of my equipment set up here as I had in the studio. That was really, we had gotten it down to where it was push button and we could change things really quick. And now I'm having to go through a few more steps as I change scenes or bring things up. But that's okay. We're going to go with it. Now, let's see if we can bring you what's going on this week at NASA.
Confirming the nomination of NASA's next administrator, an update on a commercial crew mission, and remembering a spaceflight pioneer. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. Former Senator Bill Nelson has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate to be the 14th administrator of NASA. President Biden nominated Nelson for the administrator's post on April 19th. In 1986, while serving as the chair of the House Space Subcommittee, Nelson flew aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia on the STS-61C mission. As of Friday, April 30th, mission managers for NASA's SpaceX Crew-1 mission to the International Space Station were watching the weather forecast and targeting an early Sunday morning splashdown off the coast of Florida. Crew-1 is the first of 6 crewed missions NASA and SpaceX will fly as part of our Commercial Crew Program, which has worked with the U.S. aerospace industry to return launches of astronauts on American rockets and spacecraft from American soil. NASA is remembering former astronaut Michael Collins, who passed away April 28th. He served as the command module pilot on Apollo 11, remaining in orbit, while crewmates Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin took the first human steps on the lunar surface. Before that, he flew aboard Gemini 10, the 8th mission in a series of spaceflights between the Mercury and Apollo programs that helped pave the way for the moon landings. In the years following his spaceflights, Collins often spoke about the profound impact seeing Earth from space had on him.
Well, I think the main thing about flying in space and then looking back and seeing a tiny little fragile blue and white globe, and it makes you think about our earthly problems with a slightly different perspective. We have to do a better job of taking care of what we have. We have to do a better job of getting along with each other. We have to do a better job of protecting, nurturing this tiny little fragile planet.
In a statement on the passing of Collins, acting NASA Administrator Steve Jurczyk said, "His legacy will always be as one of the leaders who took America's first steps into the cosmos, and his spirit will go with us as we venture toward farther horizons." Michael Collins was 90 years old. Our Ingenuity helicopter met all of its mission objectives with its third flight on Mars. During a virtual briefing on April 30th, the Ingenuity team discussed plans to push the limits of the rotorcraft for the remainder of its flight campaign.
With this new phase, we will now concentrate on utility of an aerial platform and work on operational products, such as aerial observation of specific science targets or looking at context features from places that are not accessible by rovers.
Ingenuity is a technology demonstration that landed on Mars February 18th with our Perseverance rover to perform a series of tests over a 30 Martian day experimental window. The rotorcraft became the first aircraft to successfully complete powered controlled flight on another world on April 19th. On April 27th, the core stage for the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket that will send our uncrewed Artemis 1 mission to the moon, arrived at our Kennedy Space Center in Florida aboard the agency's Pegasus barge. The core stage is the final piece of Artemis hardware to arrive at the spaceport and will be integrated atop the mobile launcher with the completed stack of solid rocket boosters ahead of the Artemis 1 launch. Engineers at our Stennis Space Center conducted a long-duration RS-25 engine test on April 28th, continuing the latest 7-part test series to support development and production of the engines for use on future missions with our Space Launch System rocket, including missions that will land the first woman and person of color on the surface of the moon as part of our Artemis program. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/Twan.
All right. Yeah, you got to check that out. That's what's going on. I was listening to us, and on my computer, it sounds a little garbled. All right. Yeah, you got to check that out. That's what's going on. I was listening to us, and okay, yeah, I'm listening to my voice side, and it sounds okay, but that video didn't sound as smooth as I'd wanted to sound. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah. A lot going on. We're going to see some more about that. I wanted to show you what's going on at NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, where a lot of innovation, a lot of great work is happening. We also talked about the school superintendent that's joining. There's also a thing going on called Remake Learning Days that we're involved in right here at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. I want to bring that up if I can. I don't know if I have the yeah, here we go. Right here. Okay, yeah, Remake Learning Days. If you can see that, because I got my big head in the way. Yeah, Remake Learning Days is something that we're involved in here, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, as you can see. I'll bring it right here in front of me, so there. So ages 10 to 16, and really, we're not going to be checking that close on ages, but if you want your child to get involved in some coding and have a fun day, this Saturday coming up, May the 8th, from 12 to 2 p.m., get your computers, your laptops, your smartphone, whatever you have, and you can go online and join us in a virtual Explore virtual robotics. So what we're going to be doing is actually programming and running a robotic program from your computer. You can do it at home. You don't have to buy any special equipment. It's absolutely free. And this is going on during what's happening right now. It started May the 1st through the 10th is Remake Learning Days Kansas City. Remake Learning Days Kansas City is presented by STEM Connect KC. The people at the STEM Center are working with that and working with us. And this is what they've got and our part in it. So we're doing a little event this Saturday from 12 to 2. So be sure to tell your friends. We want you all to be on it and enjoy it. It's free. If you want some more information, send us an email at bftaa@sbcglobal.net. because we'll send you the Zoom link. So once you register, tell us you want to be involved, we'll email you back the Zoom link so that you can get involved with it. If you go to the Remake Learning Days website, you can register there. We have a link on the Remake Learning Days website. You go to it, and they will send us the information, and we will open up or send you a link so that you can join our Zoom event. So we're doing a Zoom event, and it's going to be this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m. for 2 hours, virtual robotics. So you can explore virtual robotics, do some of these things, and you can find out about the Black Family Technology Awareness Association's Youth Technology Club. Yes, we'd like to get your child in our Youth Technology Club. That way you'll be abreast of all events that are going on. When we're starting new classes, when robot teams are forming, you can get involved in that. So that's what we want. So remember that this Saturday from 12 to 2 p.m., May the 8th, Remake Learning Days, and it's going to be the Black Family Technology Awareness Association hosting a Explore Virtual Robotics. So you can learn and do some virtual robotics from your home. It doesn't cost anything, and you don't have to have any special equipment other than a computer connected to the internet. You do have to have something, either a laptop, a tablet, a phone, anything that you can get to the internet with, then you'll be able to join this Zoom event and you can participate. And then you can download or work on the sites that we go to and actually do some programming. So you will have to log into this Vex Robotics site, but you'll be able to practice your coding and have a great time with it. So we've got some kids that have been working on that with us this year, ever since I think in January when we first started. But we're opening it up for the total public to come and be involved in this Zoom event where you can actually practice and work on programming a robot. So you'll link into the robot site, you'll get the information of what we want you to do from our Zoom site, and then you'll work together with it. So it sounds a little complicated, but it's really simple. If you've used Zoom and if you've been to anything on the internet, you can do this. So get your children, if you got more than one or two, and get involved. We want girls, we want boys. We want the parents to be right there with them and involved with them as they learn this, as they work with this. Because as school starts back next year, hopefully we can all be back face to face, and we're going to be building some real robots, mechanical, that will actually touch and feel. But right now, since we're in a virtual environment, we've got to do it a little different. But yeah, we'll remind you about this before we leave. We want you to either email us at bftaa@sbcglobal.net, and that was on that email right there, bftaa@sbcglobal.net. Let us know that you want to get involved, you want to get your child involved in this virtual robotics day, and we can get you signed up. Won't be a problem and stuff. That'll get you the Zoom link. You can join us and get involved, and you get some information about our Youth Technology Club that your child can be a part of. Yes, our Youth Technology Club is about getting our young people involved in STEM in a great way. So we'll look forward to you being a part of that with us and joining us. Now, before we go, I've got a couple of browser things because there's another program getting ready to start that we're going to want you to be involved in too. But first, let's see if I can get this other bit from NASA to work. We're working on it right now, and let's see what we've got. Okay, there we go. Oops.
Hello, ecosystems. Dr. Calvin Mackey here, and I'm challenging you, just you, to a robo-doom on Mars. Last November, STEM NOLA had the opportunity to introduce Robotify, a purely virtual,
Okay, let's start that again. Here we go.
Dr. Calvin Mackey here, and I'm challenging you, just you, to a robo-doom on Mars. Last November, STEM NOLA had the opportunity to introduce Robotify, a purely virtual, no hardware needed robotics platform to our students. Our students were able to use this with their Chromebooks or tablets. It is a very low-tech option to give our kids access to learn critical skills like coding, computational thinking, math, problem solving, and more. I don't know about your students, but my students are burnt out from Zoom. Robotify provided the right middle ground for our community. The learning was embedded in a game-like competition, and the kids loved it. This information was too good not to share. So let's make this an ecosystem competition. I'm challenging your community to pull together some teams to compete in a robotics competition. Guess where? On Mars. Don't be scared. Robotify will provide professional development for your coaches to support student teams. No coding experience for coaches is required. Join me in allowing all students to access this engaging opportunity grounded in substance. I'm still going to win, but come meet New Orleans on Mars. Drew Brees might have retired, but New Orleans will reclaim the crown as the champion once again. Who dat?
I'm back now. Yeah, switching back and forth, and sometimes we lose our voice on there. So my wife told me you couldn't hear me. I'm back on here now. But yeah, as we're rolling along with the ecosystem, we want you to get involved with what we're doing at KUAW. And that program, the Mission to Mars, is something that we want to get involved with. So hopefully you'll join us and you'll sign your kids up to join in the Mission to Mars. So that's another program, another thing that we're using to bring STEM to the city. And we hope that, you know, your kids are excited about it. If you have a child that likes to do things like this and get their hands on it, they're tearing up your toasters and taking the VCR apart and messing with the DVDs and everything else, then they may be the ones that we need to get involved in these robotics programs. Yes, they like that. They have an aptitude for it, and we'll be glad to have them in. So now, as I said, I've been showing you a lot about, we've got the Mission to Mars, we've got the virtual robotics that's going on. We showed you what NASA's done this week. So we're going to continue with the space trend that we're doing right now. So I've got another video I'd like you to watch. And here we go right now, back to NASA.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Isidro Reyna. This week, NASA's SpaceX. The crew, comprised of NASA astronaut Shane Kimbrough and Megan McArthur, along with JAXA astronaut Aki Hoshide and ESA astronaut Thomas Pesquet, arrived in orbit to begin a 6-month science mission on the space station. The Crew Dragon spacecraft, named Endeavour, docked autonomously to the forward port of the station's Harmony module on Saturday, April 24th. Supplies to support human research and STEM activities arrived alongside the crew. The astronauts were met with hugs.
That was one thing they talked about there, is that the ship docked autonomously. That's what we have our kids do in the robotics program, is their robot has to work autonomously, meaning it works off of programming. Nobody guided the ship up there. It did it all by the program that was written, the code. So that's showing you real-life applications for what we're teaching them in robotics, is how things will work autonomously.
Hugs and smiles from their Crew 1 and station teammates. On April 27th, NASA astronaut Shannon Walker handed over station command to Aki Hoshide during a traditional change of command ceremony. Hoshide, Japan's second station commander, will now lead Expedition 65 until October of this year.
Aki, I relinquish command. Congratulations.
And Shannon, I accept the command. Thank you.
The 4 SpaceX Crew 1 astronauts have a new splashdown date after mission managers waved off Wednesday's planned departure due to weather conditions at the landing site.
Also, this is another thing. This is our first African American to spend 6 months in space. that's on this flight right now. This is history still being made.
Check NASA TV for the latest on continuous live coverage of the departure and splashdown off the coast of Florida. From Michael Hopkins, Victor Glover, Shannon Walker, and Soichi Noguchi on board Crew Dragon Resilience. The new crew has already begun working on numerous science experiments aboard the orbiting laboratory, including the European Space Agency's GRIP and GRASP studies. The GRIP experiment studies the long-duration spaceflight effects on the abilities of human subjects to regulate grip force and upper limbs trajectories when manipulating objects during different kinds of movements, oscillatory movements, rapid discrete movements, and tapping gestures. Data from this experiment may be used to identify potential hazards for astronauts as they move between gravitational environments. These studies could also contribute to the design and control of intelligent haptic interfaces to be used in challenging environments such as deep space, planets and their moons, or asteroids. The Reaching and Grasping or GRASP investigation aims to better understand how the central nervous system integrates information from different sensations, such as sight or hearing, encoded in different reference frames in order to coordinate the hand with the visual environment. More specifically, the science team seeks to better understand if and how gravity acts as a reference frame from the control of reach to grasp. Living in space requires adaptation for more than just the astronaut's body. The absence of a traditional up or down requires the brain to adapt to the microgravity environment of spaceflight. This investigation provides further insight into how the body adapts to the microgravity environment.
Yeah, that's some of the things going on with these virtual reality. We're using a lot of virtual reality with working with kids now in robotics because we can't meet face to face. And you see them wearing those visors and learning about virtual reality in games, but there's real life applications. So we don't want to tell our kids, don't ever play with those things. We may want to limit it, but we've got to get involved in this because this is the technology and things that will be used in the future for work, for other things that we're doing in exploration, but you'll be doing that right here on Earth too. It's being done now there. But a lot of this same technology is going to have everyday applications. So let's let our kids play a little bit.
That's Space to Ground this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
So Space to Ground
Subscribe for more space.
Is definitely another one that is brought to you by NASA, and we're glad to work with them. We're glad to bring some of that information. But yeah, some of the things that we look at now that we think are games, or we used to think, well, the kids spend too much on that. There's some things, and it's all relative to how much time is being spent, but learning some of the virtuality things, learning to work with that now, or even an interest in it, may lead to a career in the future. It's just like flying drones. You see those little helicopters and stuff they're flying, and they're having races with them now. We're wanting to get our kids involved in some drone racing, but it's more than just a game because there's actually jobs out there for drone pilots. You know, that know how to fly drones. They have a licensing or certification that you can get as a drone pilot that you can go out and make more money on jobs. So all of the things that look like they're just games now with technology may have some real life implications. So I'm not saying a kid should spend 24 hours a day on this, no. But at the same time, they need to be involved and know what's going on too, so that if they have an inclination to it, they can get proficient in it. And be able to, some of these gaming things now can win you college scholarships from the colleges. They have gaming science as one of the curriculum or part of the curriculum. I don't think you can get a degree in gaming yet, but you can get into school. Sports gaming, e-gaming is becoming a bigger thing. So technology has some uses every day, and it's not just for, say, the people that are scientists and stuff. We all will be doing some of this as time goes on. And learning how to work on robots or robotic arms and those type of things is good. And learning how to code and to program, because that's where some of the jobs will be. Now, the last video that I have, and I've been running these right off of my browser, which has been a new thing for me. The last one that I have is about the rover that's on Mars right now. So I'm gonna go to it right quick so you can check it out, and we'll talk about it as it goes along. Now this is the rover. I want to see if it's ready to go. I can get interactive with it. Just a second. So the technology is so great, and if we can get it to work right, there we go. Now we can interact with it. So this is a model of the rover that they've got on Mars. Now, for some of our kids that have already been in robotics, they may see that as looking a little bit like the Lego brick. Now, it's not that small, it's actually larger, but our kids in robotics classes and competitions have built robots looking a little bit like that to do things. And with this 3D model, you can actually move, look at, they can check things out, they can get information about the wheels, what they're made of, aluminum with cleats. It tells you that. These are things that are online that have been paid for by NASA with your tax dollars, but that you can get your kids to look at. You know, take them to these sites. Look at that. That's a nice 3D model of the rover. You can find out about the instruments on it. If I click on that instrument right there, that's the mass.